Okay, so thankful for this mic. I don't have to do a sit down and be close up. I can walk around because I like walking and talking. So hopefully you guys don't get seasick or motion sickness or whatever it is. But for today, I want to talk to you guys about something that I've been learning more and more so recently when it comes to the brand. I'm doing a re-release for the green polos. If you guys haven't seen it, it's like the only thing that I've ever released. And the plan is for this time of what I've been learning, the fun thing about learning, and the interesting thing about learning, and the boring thing about learning, was figuring out how can I create and want people to buy this. I asked a friend earlier, like yesterday, when you go, what makes you? Because he has the same idea of branding as me, or the type of brands. I say, what for you when you look at a store, or you look at a piece of clothing, makes you want to buy it, right? And he goes, well, if it looks nice, first of all, like if I'm walking out and I'm in a mall or something and I see it, if it looks good, I'm gonna grab it. If it's easy to the eye, because he likes a very minimal aesthetic, I guess you could say, like not too much going on, right? So I was like, okay, makes sense. And what about all your brands? Like, what are your top favorite brands? And he was like, Represent. I said, okay. I've never seen him in Represent. I've never seen him take a picture at their store. I've never seen him rep anything they have. Nothing. So I said, okay, do you own any of that? Have you been to the place? He said, no. So, okay, so him as someone who hasn't bought from it yet, right? Because this kid can buy whatever the hell he wants, right? Alhamdulillah, mashallah for him. But to keep it to the point is, he loves the idea of what the brand is, and he could be a potential buyer. I think he just likes to fill the things out too, for him specifically. But as someone who hasn't bought from them yet, but that's one of your favorite brands, why, right? What is it that does that? And I was looking at Bruno from Nude Project, and one of his processes was how they create collections. And what they do is they take the personality of a person, their environment, and their interests, and who they really are, and they create a mood board off of that, right? So, for example, let's say I've been using this example to a couple of my friends, but let's say you're someone who likes, you're the goth girl aesthetic. Let's just say that, the goth girl aesthetic. The first thing that comes to mind is the black and white tall leggings. You got the black tutu and a black shirt, and maybe a jacket that has the spikes on it. Short dark hair, even long dark hair, but it's like like almost like anime, how they have their hair kind of like all over. Very white makeup, eyeliner, stuff like that, right? Like that's their aesthetic. But that's the clothing. But now when you go into the environment, right? If you look at the environment, they probably have a skateboard, right? They probably have posters of heavy metal and harsh metal or whatever they call it, bands, right? Like Metallica, Five Finger Death Punch, whatever it is. Like they just have that on their walls, right? Um, they probably smoke cigarettes, right? They're probably very vulgar. They probably, what else? Like, I don't know what else can come in that world, but when you do the research and you figure out what these people like and you see it, you create a mood board off of that, right? And then you can even go more niche, right? Let's say you find that type of person, but they really like crime documentaries um, and crime shows, whatever documentaries, uh, uh, mysteries unsolved, all that kind of stuff, right? That's even more niche, but that's the environment. Now clothes are always going to be the same. You have hoodies, sweats, different types of pants, shirts, different types of shirts, and jackets, right? Those are all, and obviously you got the socks, underwear, whatever, but those are the main thing. It's a top, a bottom, and maybe another thing on top, right? And then you have short and long for each thing. Now, you have to take those designs of what your brand identity is, whether if it's craftsmanship, whether if it's quality, whether if it's the idea of the brand of streetwear. Streetwear is like one thing that doesn't need to be expensive. Like the quality of the thing doesn't need to be expensive, but you can sell it for a very high price because it's like a trending type of industry, I guess you could say. Now, you take that, you create the mood board, like I said, and that storyline, and you design based off of that. So that's what I'm trying to do. I think I already have the design, and I think the design's pretty good. And it's only one thing, right? So my goal is, okay, now that I have one thing, let's create the story behind it. And that's the goal with this drop, right? We're in early March, so March, April, May, June. I have about 4 months. And then the main goal is really to focus on the autumn drop, right? Which is going to be so June, July, August, September, right? So I think September is when autumn starts, or end of August. So that's 7 months, right? And the 7 months is going to be good so I can put cash in my pocket, so I can make samples, and then first and foremost, create the storyline behind it, what I want to do. Um, but what helps me do it with this one, since I already have the product, and now I have the better phone, as you guys know, because if you guys don't know and you're new to the channel, this is the original phone that I was making all my videos and content and posts for Instagram, whatever it is. It broke, right? Completely broken, shattered. This whole back thing just happened recently, but this phone is like out the water. But so now I'm bringing it back is to think, okay, I might have to move a little bit backwards on this one, take steps back, because I kind of took the early step of making the actual thing and not creating a story behind it. But now that I create the story, what's going to be behind it, I'll have better idea for content. Because when I was making content for the polo, it was legit trying to make viral videos on on like on TikTok or whatever it is, the fast moving images, the text, or like the day one of photo shoot, and here's the actual results of a clothing brand, whatever it is, right? And I think these are all that was a learning stage for me, first of all. But I think now, so what I really want for the brand of what I've always wanted really is I don't want to be those TikTok brands. I don't want to be those fast fashion brands, or not even fast fashion, but more so of just like the quick money scheme brands, and then you slowly scale it, but it's really it's always gonna reach it's always gonna have its peak, right? Because like it just does. Like Quan, if you guys don't know who he is, Quan, he has 5 different clothing brands, right? And they're all doing pretty well, but at the same time, if you think about it, why do you need 5 different clothing brands? He knows the structure of how it's gonna work, but it's always gonna hit its peak, right? So you make another one, and another one, another one, another one, and so on and so forth. I just want to have one, and one that does so well where it's in talks with like the next, I think, 5 to 10 years with Represent and places like that. And then in 50 years, it's going to be with Louis Vuitton and Zegna and Bruno Chanelli, whatever the hell it's called, right? And that's kind of the goal, right? That's like Ralph Lauren and all this kind of stuff, right? That's what I want. And I can't just be doing that by making viral TikToks and whatnot. I just have to make it for the core people, right? And when I create cinematic videos and post images that look and feed the brand to what it is and what it needs, I think it'll do really well. And that's kind of basically the plan. So this video is just to shed light of if you have a clothing brand or if you have a brand in general and you need to create something, a product, create the storyline, create the environment, find the person. Because like in very generic terms, Aila Riqa is for anyone who makes like wealth, with Saudi culture, and in that space. But then you have to create the environment of these people, right? Amelia Andor does it really, really well because they're like a Mediterranean slash New York brand, and the way is through storytelling, right? So I think that's something I just want to leave you guys with because it's very, very key and very, very important. Because if you don't have a story, and if you don't have the environment of a person, who's gonna want to buy it, right? Who's your target audience? Who's your niche, right? I think we think of when you're starting out and you think of niche, you think of like someone who's on a yacht, and that's not a lot of people. No, you need to be very, very specific. So yeah. There's a lot more I can speak of, but I just want to end this with that, and then I want to make one more video, and I'll call it a day for today. But peace.